Color Me Bloody MMA podcast featuring Mike Turpin and Alex Perry.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Color Me Bloody MMA podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Turpin, not really alongside, on the other end of a Skype conversation today, but you might not have even noticed that. I probably shouldn't have even said that. My partner, Alex Perry. Alex, what's up, man?
Yo, man. What's
up?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. That's it. We're getting psyched, man. Big weekend in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right?
Yeah, there was a Metamoris event, Metamoris 4.
Yeah. Let's just get right to talking real quick, getting into it. Real quick, though, if this is your first time listening, we are a somewhat weekly, hoping to be weekly from now on. We were weekly for a long time and then had some shit that got chaotic in our lives, jobs, vacations, etc., where we weren't as regular. But hopefully we will be weekly from here on out and get you guys episodes. Yeah, pretty much today, man. We got the UFC fight night, the Beta versus St. Preux. There's the Cormier versus John Jones stuff that happened this week. We didn't really talk about the Ronda Rousey, like her title fight last time, where we kind of just recapped what had been going on lately in MMA and future events. So I think we should probably touch on Ronda Rousey just for like a second. But this will be kind of a free-form episode, whatever we feel like talking about. There's nothing really set in stone that is like time sensitive that needs to be talked about now. There's the Vanderlei Silva made some silly comments about calling for a Dan Henderson trilogy, some other stuff. We'll just be browsing some news and discussing our opinions as we read them. Nothing too crazy. Didn't plan up topics we need to discuss. So. Even though it's not really MMA, let's go ahead and talk about Metamoris 4. You watched it, right? Did you get a chance to watch it?
I watched a replay of it. Yep.
Yeah.
This morning.
Well, that counts. I mean, that counts. You watched the event. I did not watch it all. I watched some highlights. I was reading the play-by-play as it was unfolding. I was watching a little bit of World Series of Fighting, and I was doing some other stuff. So some stuff to get done on the computer. So I was kind of reading play-by-plays, like looking at highlights and stuff. So you will do better at giving some feedback. Basically, especially because this is an MMA podcast, obviously the Vinny Magalhaes match, and then the Josh Barnett, Dean Lister, and then Chael Sonnen, Galvao matches
sure.
are important to talk about. Are there any other matches that you want to say something about?
There was a match between two guys named Gary Tonin and Kit Dale. They're pretty popular on the jiu-jitsu scene. Gary Tonin's more like a young up-and-coming guy, a little more talented. Kit Dale just has like a cult following because he has a huge beard. He's Australian. He's kind of just like has a weird sense of humor.
Yeah, but Tonin had like the Sharknado shorts.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you notice that or no?
Nah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Sweet, yeah, but yeah, Gary Tonin just kind of folded him up, hit the guillotine, rolled him over with it, had it for a mount. It was super tight. He tapped him out within the first couple of minutes. That was cool. Then two old heads in the jiu-jitsu scene went at it. It was the only match in the gi. It was an okay match. No point in really going over it. But yeah, Metamoris is cool. It's bringing jiu-jitsu to the forefront. I like the 20-minute time limit. If no one gets submitted, it goes to a draw. So the only way to win is to submit. It's cool. It promotes a different style of jiu-jitsu out of some of these guys. But it's really cool because they feature a lot of prominent MMA fighters in these that are, obviously decent at jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. And with this one, bringing in Chael Sonnen, that's going to get a lot of eyeballs on it. And he had those problems that Nevada State Athletic Commission, just recently dropped some big fines on him and suspended him for 2 years. And they were acting like they were going to get involved and prevent him from competing in this thing. And
yeah, I was reading that. I mean,
they weren't able to do anything at the end of the day.
I'm glad he showed up, and I'm glad he did what he did. Is there any sort of athletic like sanctioning in Metamoris? How does that work? Is there drug testing? Do you know anything about that?
No, there's no drug testing.
Okay. That would probably be I mean, Dean Lister, what do you think there? We'll get to that, but what do you think there, man? That guy's like pretty like a lot bigger, right?
Now what do you mean? Are you asking me if I think he's on PEDs?
Well,
Or
either way, or is he just like, did he gain weight? I mean, he hasn't always been that big, has he?
yeah, he's always been a relatively big guy. He had to cut pretty hard to get to 185 when he fought MMA for a while.
Is
And
that
now
what
he's
it is?
like in the somewhere in the lower 200s, I guess. I mean, obviously Barnett made him look small because he's just gigantic. But
Well, I know Barnett made him look small, but he was definitely a middleweight in MMA, and I'd like to know his weight for Metamoris. I might look that up, but keep talking about go back. You can go back to talking about anything.
yeah, the only other one before that I was going to mention, I mean, Vinny Magalesh and Keenan Cornelius, that's a pretty marquee matchup. Those guys are well known in jiu-jitsu. Keenan, I think he's only like 21, 22 years old. I mean, that dude's just one of the most innovative guys out there. Some people think he's the best jiu-jitsu guy in the world right now. And Vinny's been a top dog for a long time, won the open weight division at 80cc one of those years, and, you know, beat Fabricio Verdun to do it, I think. But yeah, two high-level guys, and they competed in no-gi and went back and forth. They were trading heel hooks. Vinny had Keenan in a really tight inverted heel hook, I believe, that a lot of guys probably would have tapped to. I didn't think any of these guys were going to tap to a foot lock or any variation of a leg lock. I mean, some of them were pretty tight, but these two guys are not really exactly known to tap. And they might let it break or be injured first. But it was pretty competitive, man. It ended up going to a draw. You know, no guy submitted, but that was a good match. And the co-main event was Dean Lister versus Josh Barnett. Everyone knows Josh Barnett from MMA. He's got the big catch wrestling background. He's actually a black belt in just straight up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well, and I believe won a championship like on the world's level just in Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, the guy knows grappling. He's been doing it forever. He's just been around combat sports forever, and he's good. Dean Lister hadn't been submitted in 16 years in competition.
Wow.
You know, according to him and his camp. And he just got smothered. He got smashed, man. And Barnett said afterwards that his strategy was to tire him out. It's this front-loaded style of catch wrestling, and he just really put the weight on him, pressure on the chin whenever he was in side control. Dean Lister couldn't do anything. And
yeah, the first round was very slow, right? Like the first half or whatever they call, you know,
right,
the first 10 minutes was really slow, right?
Yeah, it was just little tentativeness, I think, from both guys. Lister trying to hold wrist control and do something. Maybe right away he pulled like butterfly guards, and I'm surprised he didn't try to elevate Josh Barnett or maybe get to the legs, like where he specializes in leg locks. But I mean, dude, if you saw the size of Barnett's thighs and just his hips in general, I mean, moving a guy like that, manipulating him and setting him up to get in leg lock submission positions and everything, like, that's not going to be easy. And it wasn't. I mean, Dean Lister's a big man himself. He's strong as shit, and he wasn't really able to do much in that regard. And Barnett just smashed him, and then he started passing, and he was tiring Dean out. He was going for
Dean looked so exhausted, man.
He was totally exhausted. Barnett was just on top grinding the whole time, and he got him tired, and then really went hard for a position he likes. He got into scarf hold position, or kasagatami, they call it in judo, where you kind of sit through while you're in side control. You sit through to your far side hip, and it's a pretty dominant position, and you can get a choke, sort of a neck crank variant from there. Sometimes they just call it a scarf choke. Seen it in MMA recently, actually, but it's pretty painful, man. You just get the head and arm while you're in that scarf position, and you kind of just pull up on it and crank, and yeah, it sucks. It really hurts.
If you're looking at it, it almost looks like a neck crank mixed with like an arm triangle, like that sort of style of choke. That's what it looks like to the layman. You know, for me, not knowing the specifics, that's kind of it. Like, you kind of have the arm triangle, but you kind of pull forward like you swing your legs out and sit back like a neck crank, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, if you get it right, it can choke and be painful, and just sucks.
So I'm watching the video. I'm watching the video now, and maybe I was wrong about also Josh Barnett's so big. Maybe I was wrong about thinking Dean Lister, and PEDs and stuff. But I'll tell you what picture cracked me up. You've seen you've seen like the flyer or like the poster for Metamoris, right? You've seen that. Go to sherdog.com. Do you have your do you have a
Yeah, no, I've seen it before.
dude? He looks so like bloated in the face. I know he always he has like a bizarrely fat face, but look at the flyer right now if you can. And look at Dean Lister's his fat cheeks. His eyes can barely open. He looks so bloated. And he has these big, huge traps and round ass shoulders. Are you looking at it?
Yeah.
Does he not look like a dude who just got like blown up on some steroids in that picture? That's what I was going off of, I think. It was that he looked so like bloated, like roid bloat. But I guess I'm wrong, I don't know if but you get what I mean. I have nothing. Right. I have nothing to suspect.
These guys all look touched up, like whether it's Photoshop or airbrush or
it looks bizarre. Like look how, and on the flip, it's like if you look at Josh Barnett, he looks so like square jawed and like not nearly as Dean Lister looks like a fatty in this picture in the face, man. He looks something like something's wrong with him. Maybe he has brain damage.
Yeah, man. Maybe he has Downs.
No. Remember when Dean Lister was supposed to go up against Polaris? I wanted to see that. That would have been cool.
That would have been much cooler because the size difference wouldn't have come into play as much. They're relatively the same size, and there would have been a lot more scrambling, and just would have been more exciting. And here we just saw Josh Barnett just crush the fuck out of him until he got him tired, and then he went for the sub.
Yeah, and they're both experts in the same thing, Dean and Polaris. So that would cancel it out, and I would imagine Dean's other jiu-jitsu might be stronger.
You just mean outside of the leg lock game?
Yes, that's what I mean. So they're both leg lock experts. So if you had to go, if neither one of them was able to be better in the leg lock category, I would say Dean Lister might have the advantage there.
Possibly. I don't know. Polaris is a pretty dynamic dude. I've seen him hit submissions outside of leg locks. I mean, he's got good arm bars, and who knows? It would be awesome. I mean, so that's how that one went. Josh Barnett, he's just he's metal as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he would say.
He's cool, dude. He's awesome. He's crazy, man. He's all about like metal and like banging chicks and like
he plays Magic the Gathering. He likes whiskey and just like hot chicks and fucking
he's a very masculine dude who's comfortable enough with himself where he doesn't mind playing Magic the Gathering and being seen at like kind of hipstery metal concerts too. Like some of the bands he like Every Time I Die and some of the bands he listened to, they're not like the manliest metal bands either.
Right.
Like some of them, he's around like dudes in skinny jeans and like mosh pits.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He just knows what he likes,
Yeah, exactly. Very comfortable in his own skin. I like it. I like him a lot. It's nice to see him do well on another platform because we both can probably agree that he had that great MMA streak going, but he's likely got to be getting well past his prime now.
Yeah, he is.
So
it's cool to see him do something like this.
Yeah, he's had some insane longevity, and we'll get back to the main event there. But something I want to talk about too is we didn't really touch on this in the last one. How long ago do you think it was, off the top of your head, just guessing, do not cheat, how long ago do you think it was that Robbie Lawler made his MMA debut?
Oh, gosh. His MMA debut, dude. Can you tell me what organization it was in?
Well, it was Extreme Challenge. I'll tell you this. Guess his UFC debut was, only a year later.
Really?
Just under a year later. So he fought in Extreme. When do you think he made his UFC debut?
I'm gonna say sometime in the early 2000s, right? Like 2000.
Take your time.
3.
It's 2002. He made his MMA debut in 2001. And this guy, there's nothing about Robbie Lawler. Like, he's only 32. He doesn't seem that old. That is very insane to think about compared to a lot of other. Think about the other fighters' careers that we've seen come and go. You know, how quickly it can happen. Guys come out at,
and he's probably got upwards of like 40 fights or something.
He hasn't fought as much as you'd think. But, yeah, he has a good bit of fights. I can bring that up too. But what I'm saying is, he doesn't have quite 40 fights. He's got 34. He has a good bit. You're right. He does have a good bit of fights. A lot of people have been fighting. There are some people who have like a, rap sheet. I guess 34 is a lot when you think about it. But
he's at a special place in his career. He can kind of have fun in there, even at the highest level. I mean, he'll be smiling like when guys try and take him down. It's like, he's
Josh
seen
Thompson
everything.
is another one. See, nobody thinks of Robbie Lawler or Josh Thompson as being particularly old, right?
Well, yeah, right.
They're not particularly old for the sport, but they have been fighting for so long. Like, imagine like a running back in football if they lasted that long. It'd be unbelievable. All right, but Josh Barnett, this is like insane. When did Josh Barnett make his MMA debut? Guess.
97.
Yes. Now check this out, dude. It was 11 days into 1997. He was 11 days away from making his debut in 1996.
Damn.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know what was going on in 96? I mean, that was like you know how long ago that was?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. We were in like, elementary school.
We didn't have internet on our computers. We probably didn't have internet. The average person probably didn't have internet, when Josh Barnett made his MMA debut.
Right. We were on Windows 95 and shit.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's crazy to think about when you put it into that perspective. I mean, he fought in an era where nobody is still around, nobody. And he also had a couple of, he had a lot of brutal matches, a lot of them.
And he's got a really pretty stout record,
Yeah. Now, how brutally did Pedro Hizzo knock him out in 2001? Their first fight. That was his second UFC fight. That was pretty brutal.
Legit knocked out.
Right. Exactly. And then in the second fight, he legit knocked out Pedro Hizzo.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Right. So, man, I'm seeing some crazy stuff here, dude. Remember Brett Rogers? I'm seeing him on here.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Brett Rogers. He had like assault and battery charge or something against him or something for his wife, domestic abuse.
He's fought everyone. Crow Cop, like Alex Emelianenko, Mark Hunt, Nogueira, fucking.
For a second, I thought you were talking about Brett Rogers.
No.
Because I was looking up, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No, you're right. Brett Rogers, though, dude. So his record's hilarious. We'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-0. And he beat Andrei Arlovsky in his 10th fight in like that 22-second knockout. So he started off 10-0, and since then he's gone like 6-8 in like no-name divisions, no-name organizations. It's like kind of like a poor man's Houston Alexander, like a lesser version of that.
All I know is he was changing tires at Sam's Club before that and like beating the shit out of his wife.
Yeah, he's
really
bad. Yeah, so Josh Barnett is 36, but has been fighting for God, I guess 17 years and almost 18 years. And who knows before that? Like he was doing stuff, catch wrestling or whatever. I mean, he has 2 decades in fighting.
I'm still to this day kind of pissed that that fight with Fedor got scrapped. I wish they would have fought.
Yeah, I mean, how do you think that would have gone?
I think Fedor would have beat him, but he would have been tested.
Yeah, you know what this is? You know what I just realized? This is like one of the first times we've done this. Usually we have so much to talk about. There's like, when we're talking about the Ultimate Fighter and there's like 3 cards in a weekend and and we go over all these news things. It is really fun to like bullshit about like timeless conversations that we never really get to talk about on this show. Like we never get to talk about Josh Barnett versus Fedor. Because it's not happening. It's not a thing that's going to happen anymore. But that is an exciting thing to talk about for like an MMA fan. Like it's timeless to talk about the Josh Barnett and Fedor Emelianenko fight that could have been, or the Fedor versus Randy. But I think the Fedor versus Josh Barnett would have been cooler. That would have been really interesting.
Well, we got to see him fight Black Fedor, so it wouldn't have been much different.
Yeah. Do you think? How do you think it would have gone?
I think he would have eventually gotten Barnett down, just kind of overpowered him and just beast him to the ground. I think he would have hit a lot of ground and pound. I don't think he would have finished him.
Fedor would have taken Josh Barnett down?
Yeah, I think so.
Man,
I think
that's
so.
crazy.
Out of like a clinch situation or something, I think he would have like body locked him or something and just kind of
That's
dragged
not
him to
how
the
I
ground.
see it going. I would see Fedor winning the stand up and not going down intentionally.
Hmm.
But maybe I'm wrong.
I
Yeah,
think
I
he
don't
would
know.
have eventually gotten him down and just stayed on top and
Yeah, I mean
with the
Fedor
ground and
definitely
pound.
had good
I mean,
killer.
they would have stood up for a while, I'm sure, but and I don't know what would have happened there. I mean, Fedor should get the better of the boxing and everything.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that was
Uh,
my opinion. How about that Fedor Dan Henderson fight?
yeah,
That
that
was
was
wild.
fun. We
Like
watched that at like one of your friends' house or something. That's
yeah.
Strike Force, but yeah.
Okay, so get back the main event of Metamoris.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Chael Sonnen.
Mm-hmm.
They got a hold of Chael Sonnen to main event their card and go against a guy named Andre Galval, who's just
Yeah.
he's been one of the top dogs for a while in jiu-jitsu. And he's a finisher. You know, he likes to take the back and get the rear naked choke. That's like his thing. And that's what he did here. I mean, they played around for a while. He actually locked up the closed guard for a while, which is surprising because it's hard to really open up and like get your attacks going from the closed guard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are some and there's some submission and sweep setups, but it's hard to hit that at the high level. So, and Chael Sonnen knows what to do there. You know, he's probably not going to get caught, but eventually he was playing around too much and there were a lot of arm drag opportunities. And Andre Galval is really good at taking the back. And
Mm-hmm.
he did. Chael Sonnen kind of messed up and he overextended at one point on something. He tried to sit out a few times, I know, and get the reversals, but he messed up at one point. I forget specifically how or what it was, but Galval took the back, secured hooks, and it was just a matter of time from there. I mean, Sonnen did a good job defending. He's doing what you're supposed to. You're supposed to fight the high hand, they call it, not even the arm that's choking you. You know, the other one that
Mm-hmm.
secures the choke. You want to start defending by grabbing that one. So he was doing well, tucking his chin, just hand fighting, doing what you got to do. But you know, the arm got under the chin, and Galval secured it and choked him out, and made him tap. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, that one was okay. I had the most fun watching the. They set up something called a secret match where neither guy knew who they were going to compete against until they walked out there. And
Yeah.
the first dude that came out was this guy named Barrett Yoshida, like old school dude from Hawaii, been doing jiu-jitsu forever. He's still really competitive though. Uh, and the other guy was one half of the commentating team. It was Kenny Florian and Jeff Glover were commentating. And so
Okay.
Barrett Yoshida walks out, and then they're like, and his opponent, and you know the dude starts talking about him, and Jeff Glover stands up, you know, with that face like, who, me? Like, you know, he knew he was going to compete, but like I said, he didn't know it was going to be against Yoshida or whatnot. Kenny
Yes.
Florian didn't know. He was like, what? And you know, he had like grappling spats on, you know, like tights on under his suit that he was wearing. So he just stripped down and got up there and did his thing. That was the most exciting match because they were both just like real flexible, like rubbery, just getting into a lot of funky positions, and it was just the whole match was a scramble.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it was exciting. Jeff Glover's just like a really he just has a big personality. So
Yeah.
he was getting over with the crowd and everything, and it was fun to watch. But all in all, like I thought it was a pretty cool event. I like those things because yeah, I do, and I like jujitsu, so it's cool to see it getting out there in that kind of format.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, man. I mean, what I saw was cool. I watched a lot of the highlights, and it looked fun. Hopefully, they keep doing this. And I like the incorporating the MMA guys. Maybe the sport of jujitsu is not as big of a fan of, like the actual practitioners might be like that's kind of selling out or whatever. But it's going to really help the sport.
Yeah, that's huge. You have to do that. I mean, you got
Yes.
to get the crossover fans.
hmm
So
Um. Okay. Did you watch any Series of Fighting 12?
no, I saw a result from the main event.
I mean, here's the thing though, man. When you were looking at this fight and you see this card, is there anyone that you're like excited? Is there anybody that you really even know well?
No, I looked it over a few days prior, and I had already kind of decided in my mind I wasn't going to dedicate any time to try and catch it.
Yeah, man. Like there was, the only reason Honey Marquez or however you pronounce his name, um, he he was in the UFC, so we're kind of familiar with him. He had like a 3-fight win streak to start his career, and then he lost to Yoel Romero and Thiago Santos, but never really. He beat Aaron Simpson. Nobody really that is that, renowned. He had a win over Polifilo and IFC, stuff like that. But he was kind of a name, and he was in the co-main event. But the main event, I'll be honest with you, I had to look into him. I did not know either Lewis. There's Luis Palomino.
I knew
and
Luis
Luis
Palomino
Gonzalez.
because his last fight ended in like a vicious knockout, and it just happened to be on like MMA Junkie as like the KO of the month or something. And I watched it over. But
Yeah.
that was the only reason I knew anything about the guy.
I had seen it. I watched the event. I watched the that World Series of Fighting 8 that he did that on, with the Gaethje fight. But I didn't remember. I remembered it was being brutal, but I didn't really remember it that much. When I saw the guy, he looked familiar, and but the other guy, what am I doing? Luis Gonzalez, I did not know. He had only had one World Series of Fighting fight, and that was World Series of Fighting 4. So his last fight was a year ago, a year ago to the day right now. And he was undefeated until he got knocked out by a knee and a punch last night by, Luis Palomino.
Right.
So Luis Gonzalez loses in the main event. Nothing else that really was worth.
Yeah, man. The only guys I knew were Hani Marks, Elvis Mustapchik, and I know Alexis Villa. I just know who he is.
God, man, you sound so smooth when you say the names. You just say it so much better than me. I just say, even if I'm saying it with correctly, like in a phonetic manner, it still sounds clunky. It'd be like in German class, like I used to always like jokingly like say everything with a very American accent, but say it like, phonetically correct, like ich bin Michael, ich bin, einen whatever the hell it is, 25 Jahre alt or whatever. And it reminds me, that's how I feel when I say these names. Even if I'm saying correctly, it sounds so bizarre and clunky,
Right.
even when I know how to pronounce it. But
Yeah.
that's
I don't know.
just the
It's
curse
little-
of having a goofy voice.
I think it's just a little recognizing the little nuances like throughout the different languages
Yeah.
and cultures, and just kind of sticking that in on the name.
You're suave.
Yeah.
You're
Rico
smooth.
Suave.
So that happened. Nothing else really worth talking about with that. I do want to talk about, let's go ahead and go over UFC Fight Night, Beta vs. St. Preux, and then we can just kind of, cover whatever we kind of feel like that after that. Because this fight's coming up.
Okay.
Bottom to top, Sarah McMahon going against Lauren Murphy. Thiago Tavares versus Robbie Peralta. I don't like. If you want to say something about these, you can, but there's not much going on here until we start getting towards the main event, which there are some fights kind of worth talking about. Hussier Da Silva versus Zach Makovsky, Seth Pazinski versus Alan. How do you fucking say Joybon or whatever. You might know. I know him. I know him, right?
Card now. Hold on one sec.
You know what? I don't know him. He's an RFA guy. Billy Daniels, remember when we interviewed him? He was RFA. I think that's an Alaskan thing. So he's an RFA guy making his MMA UFC debut.
You were thinking of that Yves Jabouet guy.
Yeah, I don't know this guy, so it's okay. I don't feel bad not knowing how to pronounce his name. Then never mind. It always frustrates me when I can't pronounce a guy's name who I know so well, and I hear it pronounced all the time, and I've even had to think about how to pronounce it because we run a damn MMA podcast.
Right.
So that will end the name talking of the. We every once in a while I vent and talk about people's names. And we talk about it for about 5 minutes, and I'm going to cap it. That is enough for one episode. Next time, if I get frustrated saying people's names, I might vent a little bit more. But
just looking here from top to bottom, I mean, it'll be cool to see Sarah McMahon get back in there, after that sort of quick stoppage when she got her shot against Rousey. I don't know who Lauren Murphy is, but Yeah, chick fight. Thiago Tavares, Robbie Peralta. That's actually an okay matchup. I like both guys. Peralta's
Yeah,
exciting.
me
He
too.
goes for it. Tavares, I don't know. I think he might be a juicer, but he's pretty exciting in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
Good grappler. Speaking of juicers, we got Juicy De Silva.
Oh,
Oh,
damn. How about that a segue? Come on.
and Zach Makovsky, who's actually one of my favorite featherweights. That guy
Noam
is
Chomsky.
awesome.
Come on. Uh,
And yeah, I don't know that Alan Joban
nah.
guy.
Seth's exciting though.
Seth's the last guy to finish Matt Brown,
Yeah,
right?
man. He's exciting. Guy,
He's
he's
big. He's
only
huge for that weight class.
he's lost 3 of his last 4 though.
Yeah.
Before that though, man, he was on a 1, 2, 3, 4 fight win streak in the UFC. Then he lost to Mike Pierce, Brian Melancon. Man, Mike Pierce, that's a guy that like we thought was going to do really well. That kind of, wasn't what we thought. He might be. We'll see.
He
But
got Palhares kicked out of the UFC. That's something.
I know
That's like the biggest thing he's done. In his
he had
career.
that. Didn't he have that Koscheck fight where he almost won and didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Neil
had a lot of those. He's famous
I
for like
know,
almost.
I know.
He's famous for almost triangling John Fish. That's like his
I know.
biggest accomplishment.
Neil
No, but,
Magny. He beat Neil Magny and then he
Seth
just
Brzezinski.
lost to Thiago Alves. So that's Seth.
Dude, that
that's
was
Seth
awesome.
Brzezinski.
Thiago Alves had like a 2-year layoff and came back and just tore him up
I know.
on the feet.
So,
But
who knows how that fight will go?
the Polish Pistola.
Yeah. Now and then I don't know if this is the first fight on the main card, but it's regardless, it'll probably be on some sort of aired prelims or something. It's probably the best prelim fight if it's not on the main card.
It'll
We
be
have
on Fox Sports 1.
what's that?
It'll be on Fox Sports 1.
Yeah, we have Sam Alvey from The Ultimate Fighter. He was a number 1 pick on The Ultimate Fighter and never gotten a chance at The Ultimate Fighter like finale. Going up against Tom Watson, who is just brutally boring to watch to me.
He's had some bad matchups, but yeah.
Oh my
He's not
God.
looking too hot in the UFC.
No.
We saw him live.
Ugh. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Man, I forgot to read betting lines as we were going through this, but I will tell you this. Tom Watson is just a razor-thin, slight favorite.
Really? I'm taking Sam Alvey.
Me too. No, you know what?
Smiling
No.
Sam.
No, Tom's going to take Sam down and lay on him or something like we saw live. Or didn't we see him fight Nick Catone live?
Yeah, they held each other up against the fence the majority of the time in that one, which is even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jersey Devil, man, in Jersey.
Yeah, Thiago Tavares is a slight betting line favorite against Robbie Peralta, and then that's Seth Brzezinski is a slight favorite. So yeah, that covered those fights. So yes, we'll see how that fight goes. Ross Pearson is going up against Gray Maynard. How do you see that?
Gray will probably out-grapple him, I guess.
Okay.
But Pearson could knock him out. Like Pearson
Yeah.
could knock him out in the first or second round, I think. But Maynard will probably squeak out a decision. Yeah, it's cool seeing Maynard come back and everything. Like he's had a rough go of it, just getting knocked out all over the place. But man, we're missing out on Pearson versus Abel Trujillo. That was the original bout.
Yeah,
That would have been sick.
I agree.
But, I think if Gray Maynard gets knocked out like brutally again, like he has been lately, he should probably just like call it quits, retire, or go to another organization. I don't know.
As of right now,
I don't
I'm
wanna
going to
see
go ahead and say this is probably, if not one of the best bets on the card. For those of you out there who are interested in betting or just think it's fun to like play the odds in your mind like I do. I don't actually bet, but I think it's fun to look at. I think Gray Maynard right now, you can get him at plus 107, meaning he is a slight underdog. You barely make money off of your money, like in addition, but you still get at least your money back.
Yeah, that's a good bet.
Plus 107, Gray Maynard. I think Gray Maynard here has a very good chance of taking Ross Pearson down and staying on top of him. Now, Ross himself looked like he was like turning a new leaf in his MMA career, though. And then had that the Melvin Gillard fight, which was the no contest, and that Diego Sanchez fight where he, lost that split decision. And it's like, It was so frustrating to watch him in that Diego Sanchez fight for me. And then, he beat Ryan Couture and he beat George Sotiropoulos. But in that Sotiropoulos fight, we're like, damn, Ross is really coming into his own and starting to know how to game plan better for fights. And then it didn't look that way for me in the Diego Sanchez fight. Like, I thought Ross's striking was going to be light years ahead of Diego.
It's got to be hard to fight that guy. You know what I mean? He's such an oddball.
But you have months to prepare for that. You have months to know what he's going to do. And Ross in the show, when he was coaching up against George, it seemed like this is a guy that knows these guys are so good at convincing you they know how to game plan for fights that it is shocking when they don't. Like that it is that it potentially Ross Pearson is without a doubt he has to be the better striker than Diego Sanchez. But Diego's, tenacity and aggression or whatever, I forget, I might be wrong. That might not have made the complete difference, but that's a split decision. But oh well. So Ross Pearson, Gray Maynard.
Dude,
my opinion, Gray takes this down and wins.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. I can't think of anyone in the UFC that is probably more frustrated with his career right now than Gray Maynard. I'm just looking at his record, and the last real positive outcome, like it hasn't been since he beat Kenny Florian in 2010. Now, I know he beat Clay Guida, but I'm talking like positive outcome. After he beat Kenny Florian, he has that draw and that like incredible fight with the first Frankie Edgar fight, right? And then, obviously, in the rematch, gets pretty brutally KO'd by Frankie, like in the 4th round, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. So he comes back, pretty long layoff, like around a year layoff, I think. Comes back, fights like a surging TJ Grant, gets brutally knocked out up against the fence.
Well, real quick, pause for a second. You're looking this up, right?
Yeah.
You're saying it in a really fun. I'm reading this in the way you're saying it. You're really doing a good job, like masking the fact that you're like, I think it was around a year later. And then I'm thinking,
I wasn't counting the months. I don't know. I just saw it was June.
It's funny. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking like, all right, is he just like rattling this off his head, or is he using a site that doesn't list like the dates to this shit? And it's like, I think he fought TJ Grant next. I'm like, okay, what's going on here? No, I'm just calling you on your bluff. I mean,
after the Frankie Edgar knockout loss, like he gets that win over Clay Guida, but it was pretty uninspiring. Man, Clay Guida just ran around him the whole time. He ran around, and he's acting pissed that he didn't get the win. Like Gray was obviously frustrated because he hardly got to touch the guy and hit him, but I guess he did maybe a few more times, and then Clay got off, and they awarded Gray Maynard the split decision. But after that, he gets brutally knocked out by TJ Grant, then really brutally knocked out by Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
Like, he was just out on the feet. It looks like he was, he looked like he was hammered drunk just walking around, and they had to call it off. And, man, I don't know. I feel like there's a decent chance of something like that happening again. I mean, Ross Pearson certainly has the stand up to do it, but I don't
think he has the takedown defense to do it.
No, I think it's more likely that Gray takes him down and grinds him out.
Yep. Okay, so then we have Brad Tavares versus Tim Boetsch. Neither guy has ever impressed me, but Brad is probably technically more sound, while Tim is a little bit more of like an animal in the first round or 30 seconds before he gasses.
Yeah, I know. Tim, I'm on a Bosch,
I'm on a Bosch. What?
His cardio is it's not even suspect. There's nothing to suspect. It's pretty obvious. It's out there for everyone to see. It's terrible.
Yeah, Tim is a pretty heavy underdog here. Brad is 2.5 to 1 favorite. So,
I don't know, man. I think Tavares, he's had to fight a bunch of dudes that like to rely on the grappling when the going gets tough. So, I mean, his takedown defense, especially up against the cage, is pretty impressive. He utilizes that well. So I think he'll be able to keep it on the feet and then just like outstrike.
I agree completely, man. He had to go against some people. In my opinion, Boetsch needs to finish this fight to win.
Yeah.
He's not after the first round. I don't think the grappling is going to be strong enough, and he needs to finish this fight to win. And Tavares has not been finished actually ever in his career. He has 2 decision losses. His last is to Yoel Romero.
Yeah.
But I can't see Boach offering much more than what Lorenz Larkin offered in their fight.
Right. I just
So
wish I love watching Tavares fight. His Muay Thai, his techniques, like it's really solid, especially for a big guy. But I wish he would just go for it sometimes. Like if he feels he has an advantage or has someone hurt, I wish he would just like let loose and go for it because he
yeah,
has all these wins and his record's decent. But it's just it's
maybe
just a
this will
bunch
be
of
the fight to do it.
decisions.
Maybe
He
this will
just
be the
out
fight.
kickboxes people. He hasn't finished someone since fucking Phil Baroni in like 2011.
Maybe this will be the fight to do it once. But if Boach gasses like towards the end of the second round / third round, I could see Tavares opening up here and getting the finish. I could definitely see
Nice.
this be changing it. Okay, we got a couple of big dudes going at it. We got Sean Jordan going against Jack May in what appears to be the co-main event. Here's the thing, man. I don't really know who Jack May is. I know I've seen him fight. I'm going to have to look into this. I know I saw him fight recently, but who the hell was it? Okay, he lost to Derek Lewis.
No shame in that. Guy's an animal.
Yeah, so I do remember him now. And I do remember that fight. That was on the Verdun Brown.
He had the upper hand.
Yeah, I watched. I remember. I can remember.
It was
Yeah,
a good
he did.
fight.
It was.
Yeah.
And Sean Jordan is a guy that both of us has kind of thought skill wise has not offered a ton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about either guy's skill set here. I don't know what Sean Jordan to me comes off like kind of an old school heavyweight fighter where he kind of has knockout power because he's a big dude, is an okay wrestler because he's strong, but doesn't really have much going for him technically, unless I'm wrong and just am uninformed about his skill set.
No, I would agree with that.
And I don't know anything about Jack May really, other than that might be the kind of the same thing to expect from him.
Yeah. Plus,
bad.
I think he's a little too old to like really make an impact. I don't think even if he had a decent little win streak, I don't know. He's like 33 already as a heavyweight.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know much about him. I could be wrong. I hate stereotyping or like saying that about heavyweights, but heavyweight is like the one weight class where you seem to be able to get away with being like the Todd Duffy. Like these guys are more like less physically impressive, but still kind of the same style as Todd Duffy in that these guys might be grittier and everything. And Todd's probably more explosive, but it's kind of that what's his name? Joey Beltran is kind of like that. It kind of reminds you of like Paul Buentello, like guys who are not the most technical strikers, but have some knockout wins.
Yeah.
Because they're big. I mean, look at this is what you have in Jack May. He has a bunch of knockout wins, and they're early. They're first round knockouts. And like I'm talking 47 seconds, 52 seconds, 1 minute, 3 seconds, head kicking punches, 2 minutes, 57 seconds. If I had to guess just by going off that, I'd say maybe Jack May gets a knockout here. But
Yeah.
Sean Jordan is almost a 2-1 favorite.
Nice. Well, we know Sean is susceptible to the knockout now.
He's been knocked out first round 2 times in a row. And his wins he has
This
a couple
is notable.
He has 3 TKO wins in the UFC. And most of his wins come via KO or TKO. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to go Jack May might be a good bet here. If you're looking to play off the fact that Sean Jordan's got knocked out early 2 fights in a row, go ahead and lay money down on Jack May because he has a bunch of first round KOs.
Okay.
Do you know?
Decent prediction. I'm going with Sean Jordan, but wouldn't be shocked to see Jack May pull it off. This is notable. Sean Jordan holds a unanimous decision victory over Derek Lewis from 2010 in the Cajun Fighting Championships.
Yeah. Main event: Ryan Bader versus Avin St. Preux. OSP. It always reminds me of. I don't know why I called him OVP, but OSP. Like the little George St. Pierre playoff that they do. Yeah, man, OSP has really impressed me in his past few fights, in the fact that he is a very insanely physical dude.
Yeah, that guy's got to be strong as shit, right? Like that's probably no fun.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah,
Um,
he was a former college football player. He was like a linebacker or something. So he's just a beast athletically.
this right here, man, this is a fight for me where I want to call an upset. Ryan Bader, though, started looking a little bit better and more comfortable on his feet in his last fight, where he beat Cavalcante. And
Mm-hmm.
it seems like since the Glover fight has looked a little better. I don't remember how good he looked against Perosh, but regardless, his last fight, he seemed to be more comfortable and do well against a guy who has been pretty dangerous in the past. But
Right.
OSP, to me, he has a better gas tank probably than Cavalcante, tenfold.
Sure.
Bader has to use his wrestling here, right?
Yeah, yeah. I thought he fought smart against Cavalcante, man. And yeah, his hands have looked a little better. It's just getting like a few percentages better, I'd say, like in each fight. Like it just looks a little more comfortable, like
Absolutely.
you said. He even looked comfortable throwing leather with Glover Teixeira, and he kind of rocked him a little bit
Yeah.
before he got finished himself.
And I believe too, part of the reason Ryan Bader might not have the worst chin in the world, I think, but when you're tense and you kind of have that Jake Shields kind of like lock neck where you're so tight, you can be very susceptible to getting brutally knocked out. Nate
Yeah.
Quarry, guys like that, a lot of times are not completely relaxed. I'm not saying you can't get knocked out when you're relaxed, because boy, can you. But there's just something about a guy who's super tense and tight in his neck. It adds impact. So, like, if even if you're relaxed and not completely slipping a punch, your head moves with the punch a lot more than if you're stiff and resisting it. Is that a thing? Am I just making that up? Does that make sense?
Absolutely makes sense, man. It's just like you're more susceptible to get injured in a car crash when you tense up.
Yeah, yeah.
That kind of idea. It's just
It's the
like,
idea of, if I was to punch you all right, if you were to hold your hand up and I was to punch it as hard as I could and you kept your arm completely relaxed, your hand would move out of the way of my punch and it would not, like, move with my punch, and it would not hurt your hand that bad.
yeah,
But if you were to try and hold it and resist it, the impact would be so much more brutal. And
exactly.
that's, imagine the same thing with your head. You tense up your head, you're tight in your neck, and somebody clocks you, and there's so much more impact than if your head moves with the punch and your body kind of moves with it, and you're completely relaxed to the point where you might not get as knocked out as easily. And Bader has that I get knocked out because I'm tense look about
Yeah.
him when he gets
That's
knocked
why
out.
Anderson Silva, typically throughout his career was always able to take so many rough looking shots because it was just like you were pushing his face away. He would just roll so
Yeah,
well with
dude.
it because he's relaxed as shit.
Yeah,
And
that
like,
am I do I have the wrong term? Am I using slipping and it's
no,
actually rolling?
oh, well, no, yeah, it's whatever. It's like, the whole, that a lot of guys use that style. Yeah, a shoulder roll, I
Yeah.
guess is what you would call it.
Yeah,
But
okay, cool. So he's like kind of rolling with the punches is kind of like
yeah,
the way to, describe it. So that's something that Bader needs to get better at, I think, and he looks like he has the style that is getting better with it. But OSP to me athletically can probably combat Bader pretty well. Strength wise, Bader probably has that man strength a little bit more. He has that wrestler strength, but he hasn't used it to me in a way that is impressive against really strong guys, I don't think,
hmm
that often. His gas tank's gotten better than his first few UFC fights when he was on like that undefeated tear, but and he looks a little bit leaner and like, not, I don't know about leaner, but like lighter. He looks like he is not as bulky, so that makes him maybe a little quicker. But I think OSP has a better chance than the betting lines give it, and if I'm going to go ahead and take OSP here.
Okay. Yeah, no, ever since this was announced, I thought he was going to win. I think this is maybe not a better bet than taking Gray Maynard, but comparable.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I think he'll finish the fight, man. He's impressive.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and go with OSP. I cannot believe the run that he is on does not earn him to make this line kind of even. Ryan Bader has a name. OSP hasn't quite made a name for himself in the same way against the casual fans, and Ryan might get some bets as a result, which kind of skew the lines. So I'm going to go ahead with the with OSP here.
Yeah, he's like the definition of a dark horse kind of contender.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it because I didn't want people to think I was making a pun, but but yeah, gotta go OSP here on my end. So we covered that happens next Saturday. It's a UFC fight night. I guess that's going to be on Fox Sports 1.
Yep.
Cool. It's not a Fight Pass one. Yeah, and then just looking at the schedule, we got 2 fight nights in the same damn night again 2 weeks after that. Then we have UFC 177 a week after that, and then September 5th we have a UFC fight night 5 days after that. So, all right, dude, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 events in the span of August 16th to September 5th. That's just UFC. That's not including any other big organization.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for that Macau card. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Bisping and Kung Lee.
Mm-hmm.
And Dong Young King coming back, fighting Tyron Woodley.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been better if it was Lombard, but whatever.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And they took what's his face off that. Oh no, wait. I was gonna say they took Uriah Faber off it, but I'm thinking of the damn. They're going to Japan too. I just got them mixed up.
Yeah, Uriah Faber's off that card, and I guess Bruce Leroy's in for him.
Yeah, Bruce Leroy fighting that Kanehara dude, who's a highly touted prospect, but Faber probably would have, kind of destroyed him.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to see Bruce Leroy go in there against him.
Oh yeah.
I like that matchup more. This is cool too. It's not that coming up. But August 29th, there's also going to be that. It's really the first ONE FC fight card that has mattered to the layman kind of fan. People who don't just watch every single thing possible. It has. Check this out. Ben Askren is going up against Nobutatsu Suzuki, and but he's actually in the co-main event. The main event is Shinya Aoki versus Kamal Shaloris. So that's a cool card. And Roger Huerta's on it. I was thinking of Roger Huerta earlier when I was thinking of people whose careers we've kind of seen come and go. Roger Huerta has lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of his last 7 fights. And he hasn't fought since 2012.
Then there was one point where he was supposed to be like the next big thing.
Yeah, dude, he was on cover of ESPN magazine or something, right?
Sports Illustrated.
So Sports Illustrated. That was it. Okay.
That was like the first MMA cover ever.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know what else we need to talk about real quick? War Machine. Yeah. I see his name on a fight card.
I was just gonna bring that up, man.
Yeah.
Just I don't even like to say allegedly because it's pretty obvious he did it. War Machine has been in a relationship, pretty publicized relationship with Christy Mack.
Famous actress, Christy Mack.
Christy Mack, pretty well-known adult film star.
Oh, yeah.
And, so turns out, allegedly, War Machine walked in on her in bed with another fighter. Got all freaked out and I guess raged on her and apparently beat her up pretty bad. She's in the hospital. There's reports now saying she can barely speak, broke her eye socket and messed her jaw up. So she's in pretty bad shape.
So I kind of don't understand that. So she was having sex for pleasure with another dude and it made him roid rage. I don't mean roid rage, but whatever. That's a bad. I don't even know why I said
You're
that.
saying
I don't
he
know
probably can't even get that pissed because he's okay with his girlfriend.
I get
doing
it being
porn.
different, but it's so bizarre to me to go from one. Look, I understand it's like if you date a porn star, obviously you accept her having sex for work with other people, and you also are like, but I don't want her, out on her own having it for pleasure.
And you don't really ever accept it. You just say you do.
I understand being in a monogamous relationship
cool
with a porn star and understanding that it is like being able to have the mindset that it's different. but it's not different enough to the point where you're completely okay with dating a chick or okay enough to date a chick like that and then go that extreme when you find out she's cheating on you. Like
Right.
the type of dude that beats up a girl because she cheats on you is not the type of dude that is okay with dating a porn star. Right?
Yeah, you would think so, but I don't know, man. The guy legally changed his name to War Machine. He's been in and out of jail. Like, I don't think we can really like give him like a prototypical kind of like mental makeup. You know what I mean? Like,
The part about it that, you know, him walking in on it is like the one thing that, it doesn't make me understand why he would beat her up. But man, maybe attack him. What happened with him? What happened with the MMA fighter dude?
I don't know. I'm dying to find out who it was though.
Yeah. So did he attack that guy, you think? Maybe it was Roger Huerta. No.
I'm thinking it was like Derek Lewis or something.
Yeah, who knows? That'd be,
Thinking it was
Czech
Brett
Congo.
Rogers. Yeah. LeVar Johnson.
Oh man. Shit. Mike Russo.
Oh, dude.
She's real into Mike Russo.
Yeah.
Mike Russo started dating a porn star. That would be epic.
Yeah, he's a cop, right?
I think
He's a Chicago cop. Yeah.
Ugh.
No, but whatever. War Machine's a douche. He's still on the run. I don't know. They can't even find him.
All right. What is the over under as to whether or not they'll find him alive? Is there a chance he's going to kill himself?
No, I don't think so.
You think they'll find him and he'll just go to jail and he'll be whatever? I mean, he's been to jail before and he didn't seem to hate it that much.
Yeah. He loves himself too much. He'll go to jail.
Yeah, you're probably right.
What the fuck though? What an idiot.
Yeah,
Kristen
man.
Mack.
I
I mean, we've all seen her get beaten up before, but not. in this
come on.
context, you know? I know. She's like a bad person. I had to say that though. So,
beat it to her, maybe, but beat her? No. Okay.
So, we never really touched on the John Jones Daniel Cormier press conference thing.
Now let's do it. They had a little bit of a tussle.
A little bit of a tussle, and I gotta say, Daniel Cormier kept like bitching about how Jones came forward and like it's like he was looking down on him and putting his head on him. It's like, dude, this happens like every semi-heated weigh-in altercation ever, man. Just deal with it.
I know.
I'm never gonna let another man push his head against my hand. It's like, what are you talking about, dude?
I do agree with Cormier that it was the other dude that Jones was in a way trying to bully him and intimidate him in that manner. But that's what they all do. If it's a form of bullying when he does it to you, it's a form of bullying when it happens at every single weigh-in where foreheads touch.
It's so dumb. I mean, guys like that should have a no contact policy beforehand. Then, if you can't handle it, then don't do shit like that.
Yeah, clearly it's common for people's foreheads to touch at a weigh-in. You're not that dumb. I like Daniel Cormier, and I will like him, and I'm okay with him. But look, at the end of the day, he's a professional fighter. If he gets into like a little bit of a tussle a little easily outside of it, he's a lot more professional in a lot of ways than a lot of other fighters. I'm okay with him being a little, crazy in that one aspect.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. And he shoved Jones back. He didn't punch him. He shoved him back. Like, so it'd be different if Cormier punched him. But a lot of people do, kind of push people away a little bit when somebody gets in their face or it gets like that. Like, I'm okay with that to a degree. But the fact that he acted like it was so out of character for anyone or so crazy for anyone to put their forehead against, someone else was that was the part I was like, oh,
especially after all the animosity leading up to that. Like, dude, yeah, he's not that dumb. And then on the other side of it, Jones saying that it was like a chop to the throat. Like, what? He pushed him.
Yeah, he did push up on his, towards him. But
yeah.
Even if he pushed his face back, like,
You're going to drop your belt and then rush and throw a punch, really?
Dude, I mean, it was crazy. Jones went in on him, but, and for people being the worst, the biggest thing about it that frustrates me is people being like, well, Jones is going to win now because he took, Daniel down. It's like, oh, God, shut up.
Now, anyone that knows anything isn't going to listen to that kind of stuff. They're on a stage and they're who knows what kind of shoes.
Like, do you realize
a bunch of bodies everywhere? Like, what?
If I was face to face with Cain Velasquez and we were face to face and he had his, arms down like a weigh in a little bit or not like completely ready, I could literally punch him if he wasn't expecting it. Like if I didn't wind up and just threw a punch at his face, I could hit him and it would probably hit. Like maybe he would move out of the way, but I highly doubt it. Maybe he would block it. But if you literally just had your hands up like you are at a weigh-in, especially if you're in like a fighting position already and you just swung in that position, you would hit the other guy in his face and you could potentially knock him out. Like, I'm not saying I could potentially knock out Cain Velasquez, but you put me in a stare down with Forrest Griffin and we both have our hands ready and the other guy's not expecting it and you clock him from that position as hard as you can in the chin, you could at least knock him down, hit him in the throat or something. I mean, like, it's not that ridiculous. Daniel Cormier was not ready to get into any sort of fight. And I'll tell you this, people who think Jones is going to take down Cormier are crazy.
Right.
They are crazy. It is not going to happen. John Jones will not be able to take Daniel Cormier down, at least in the first few rounds. If Cormier gets tired, maybe that's a different story. But
exactly.
It is not going to happen.
Yeah, man.
Do you agree?
Yeah, no, like you said, I think he would have to get him tired and then hit something weird, like one of those ankle pick situations maybe.
Yeah. Or just like a little trip or something if you got him tired. Or if you catch Cormier trying to catch his breath with his standing kind of flat-footed or kind of in the way, maybe in a way where you catch him a little off guard, but I don't think that's going to happen. Like Gustafsson probably couldn't take John Jones down that often or frequently, but he caught Jones off guard and took him down.
Jones is really good at that, like I said, like the ankle pick kind of deal, like where he goes one hand high, one hand low. One hand on your chest and the other one's like sweeping out your ankle.
You know who else is great at that?
He's so long.
You know who the first person I ever saw to use an ankle pick in MMA was? And I'm probably way off. Cain Velasquez.
Oh, yeah. He's good at it, too.
Uh-huh.
It's actually a really effective technique. But
you leave yourself open.
Yeah, you do. Like knee to the face type stuff. But
or just your face is wide open for anything.
Yeah, he's really good at. I could see something funky like that going down, but there's no way he's going to do it out of like the clinch. Outside of like a lucky trip or something where he just really catches Cormier off guard. He's not going to hit a double leg or a single leg.
No.
So
it was weird. There was a lot of people around. People were trying to break it up. Daniel Cormier fell down, then apparently tried to kick John in the face and then threw his shoe at him. I don't know if that's all true. I mean, you can't see that as much on the video. But then they had a little thing on ESPN where they thought they were recording. They cuss each other out, and John's like, if Daniel Cormier's like, John's like called him a pussy or something. And Daniel, you could tell. I mean, I don't think they were acting. I think that was for real because Daniel seemed pretty sincere.
He was so flustered, man. He was so flustered, and like he's kind of, you can tell he's like maybe genuinely a nice guy. So like he's so bad at talking shit. Like he couldn't even make up his own insult. He was so flustered. Like Jones was like, "You still there, pussy?" And he's just like, "You're so fake, John Jones."
And then he goes, "Yeah, I'm here." Like he replies.
He goes, "Yeah, I'm here." And he was like, "You are so fake." He's like, "You're such a fucking pussy." He called him a pussy right back. He couldn't even like make up his own insult. He was so flustered.
That's not Daniel Cormier's game. But I'm going to tell you right now, man, people think that John Jones is, getting in Daniel's head. And everything I've read makes this seem like it's only helping John Jones and hurting Daniel Cormier, all of this stuff. I don't agree at all. The fight is going to be the fight that it was going to be with or without this stuff. The only thing that might make it different is the tenacity that these guys come at each other. But historically, we haven't quite seen that. In a lot of heated matches, the guys go out and they still fight a smart fight. And even if, one of the guys came out a little bit more aggressive, I don't necessarily think it would be like, oh, that's a terrible game plan. Like if you told me that Daniel Cormier was going to come out extra aggressive now and try and get a takedown, it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe there's more of a chance he'd get caught, but it's not that outlandish of a game plan.
The opposite would happen. I think there'd be more of a chance of it going to decision, because I think Cormier is going to want to. if he does have the advantage, I don't think he's going to necessarily finish him. I think he's going to kind of pour on the beating.
Dude, he'll go for the first finish he sees. What do you mean? So, what in what way? Like, no, he would love to knock Jones out, I'm sure, and finish him.
Yeah, it's just I think he wouldn't mind beating on him for 5 rounds either.
I hear you. I understand what you're saying. It's kind of like the Randy Couture like butt spank on Tito. But I think that'd be insane if Daniel Cormier did that. And I'm the guy who thinks I'm all in Daniel Cormier here. Yeah. I'm the guy who thinks that Daniel Cormier is going to take Jones down with ease and get him in rough positions and be able to avoid the submissions and rough him up good and hold his own surprisingly in the stand-up, considered the reach differential. He's not going to want to, because there's going to be level changes and because John seems to get inside some a lot and not use his reach to keep distance a ton. I do think, he does. He comes forward with his arms forward, but it's Cormier's going to have no problem getting inside. And I think the stand-up matchup's going to be fairly even in some ways, but it's hard for me to think that Daniel Cormier is going to be doing so well or has such an advantage that he can literally just not even worry about finishing the fight and be like, oh no, dude, I'm not going to let him off that easy. I'm going to keep beating him up. That'd be terrible. That'd be a dumb thing to do.
Yeah.
Like if you have a finish in front of you and you're like, nah, I don't. That'd be like if Vitor actually was like, you know what? No, he didn't. That armbar I let go because I didn't want to let him off that easily.
Right.
But
yeah, no, he would probably go for it pretty hard, but I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm still sticking to John Jones winning a decision here.
Okay, that's fine.
But I want Cormier to win, man. I want him to win so bad. I do got to admit, I love how Jones is playing the promotion leading up to this one.
The physical stuff I could do, but I like
it's entertaining.
He is a very entertaining person, and he is a little funny when he gets talking. And I don't like him, but
it's funny as shit. Did you watch their other interview where Cormier was like sort of interrupting John Jones, and Jones was just like, "Did I just let you talk? Did I just let you talk? Did I just let you talk?" He said it like 17 times in a row, and then it was like this awkward pause afterward.
Yeah, and John just has this straight face, like he is totally trolling him and loves him.
Oh my god.
This isn't doing anything in a bad way for this isn't doing anything negatively for John Jones's psyche, that's for sure. We can all agree on that.
No, you could just tell by the look on his face when they didn't know they were being recorded during that TV spot. As soon as John Jones said, like, dude, you are so fake, like, Jones was just smirking, like, yeah, I'm the fucking best troll in MMA right now. You have no idea.
Okay, so we covered that. All right, Ronda Rousey. We don't even have to talk about her a ton, but we just didn't cover her at all last week, and she had that win. Nobody even really cares to talk about it a ton. What? How do you see her future? Is anyone going to beat her?
I think Cyborg could beat her.
I
don't think Holly Holm will beat her. I don't think McMahon would beat her in a rematch. I don't think Kat Zingano is going to beat her. Misha Tate would never beat her. She's going to take Holly Holm down and probably submit her. I don't know. I only would be interested if they matched her up with Cyborg at this point.
The Carano thing is stupid.
It's asinine.
Is there any chance of the Cyborg fight?
Sure. I think UFC is totally open to that. They know that would be big, man. You could probably carry a card with that one, but if you were to pair that with like another, like with a big male title fight, I think like it would destroy. That's like over $1 million buy type stuff. If you paired that with a big marquee matchup.
Yeah.
But I think they're open to that. Anything that can make money, man. They're promoters at the end of the day. Like they don't give a shit about her past. You know what I mean? Whether it involved drugs or not. It's what's happening now and what can make them money. And I think they're open to that. I don't know if she can make 135. I don't know if that's all bullshit. Like her saying her doctor said she won't be able to have kids if she does that kind of weight cut. Like that all seems extreme and it might be BS, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. A catch weight would be cool. I don't think Rousey's too open to that. Like if they did 140, but Then it wouldn't
Yeah.
be for the title, right? So I don't know. I think it's possible. I think it'll happen in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, I hopefully, man, but to me, the time has come and gone when Cyborg is the most exciting fight.
I know.
It's come and gone, man. The
I
sport
know.
is past that. In my opinion.
It sort of is.
I mean, shit. I mean, I'm just trying to like think about. She had that. Let me bring her up real quick. Bring up Cyborg. God dang it, where is she?
I mean, I think most recently she was getting beat in a Muay Thai event.
Yeah, I
Now, it
know.
was against the number one, like no question, the number one like female kickboxer in the world right now. But yeah,
Wait, dude, is she? She's not married to that one guy anymore. How long ago did that happen? That's a long time, right? Oh my god!
been a
Bring
while.
up her sure dog.
Yeah.
Her face is ridiculous. Whoa,
What
if anyone is listening to this at home, bring up her sure dog right now.
you mean? Because she looks like Vanderlei Silva, or what do you mean?
What happened? I mean, dude, I know she's always looked manly. Her lips look like she looks like she got like plastic surgery. Her lips are huge. Tell me that's different. Something's weird about that photo. Am I right? Does that look like Cyborg to you?
Hold on, I'm just pulling it up. Cyborgs. Her main shared out picture. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, man.
I mean, is that before a fight or in the middle of a fight?
I doubt she got that much beat up that it swelled her up.
She's got the fish lips going on.
What is wrong? Am I right? Does that look bizarre to you?
A little bit. Yeah, her face looks
Ugh.
funny. I don't know, man. She's always had, dude. Just imagine like no hair. Like it's like a weird, like ugly, feminine Vanderlei Silva
Yeah.
post
It
plastic
reminds
surgery.
me of those, like, you ever been to like a tiki kind of bar and they have like those wooden, I don't know if it's like Hawaiian or whatever it is, and they like carve like faces out of them.
Oh yeah,
That's what it looks like to me.
that's funny.
All right. Yeah. You're right. It was the Muay Thai event that she got beat at.
Oh yeah,
She hasn't fought in over a year in MMA.
yeah. Rematched Marlos Kunin, beat her up pretty good.
But why
That's really
is she no longer married to?
Nope. Now it's Christian Justino instead of Santos. She's not
Yeah.
married to what's his name, Evangelista Santos.
Yeah. Okay.
The
That's probably
the
been a
male
while.
cyborg.
I haven't noticed.
Still retains her name Cyborg though.
Yeah.
Well, it's tattooed on her arm, so I guess she has.
Kind of
to.
has to. Cool. Yeah. Is there anything else big you want to talk about? I think we're good, right? Anything else happened this week that was like?
No, I mean
I mean,
can't
other
think
stuff
of
probably
anything,
did.
man.
There were little news blips, you know.
Yeah, a little maybe some bullshit fight announcements or anything, but nothing crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
the Ultimate Fighter 20 is soon, but
Yeah.
and that'll be cool. I think people are going to be surprised what they get out of these straw weights. I think that division is going to be more exciting than women's bantamweight.
And that's the
Those girls get down, dude.
who are the coaches in that one? That's not Kane
Gilbert
Verdum,
Melendez
is it? Okay, yeah, that's good.
and
That's
Anthony
good.
Pettis.
Okay, now when does the Kane Velasquez Verdum one starts soon too?
Yeah, I guess that's before, right?
That starts like this week, I think.
Pretty-
Maybe
yeah,
this
pretty soon.
Wednesday.
Right,
It might.
right.
It starts soon.
Yeah, and it's one of those like it's in a different country. It's like when they first started doing like the nations type. It's gonna have that kind of feel to it. It's not gonna be as publicized and everything. I don't think, even though like the heavyweight champion is one of the coaches.
Yeah.
I think that the surprisingly enough, Tough 20 is gonna get, because that's like an actual numbered one. You know what I mean? They tend to get more attention. I don't know, but yeah, but Tough Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
Fabricio Verdum, that guy's awesome.
All right, so yeah, that'll be exciting. Anything cool you did this week before we wrap it up?
Cool this week. No, I got a little hammered last night. I'm not gonna
That's
lie.
cool.
Went downtown.
Well, that's why.
Went down to Canton, man.
Oh, you said I'm not gonna lie. I thought you said I don't know why, and I'm like, well, it was
Oh, no, no,
Saturday.
no.
You went out, and that's you.
Yeah, said I'm not gonna lie.
Um,
Yeah, did a little bit of bar hopping, man. But During the day, went over to like Gunpowder State Park. They got like
Yep.
a little beach area. Went and did that for a little while.
How was that?
It was okay. I don't know. Water's a little dirty. People are a little sketch,
Yeah.
but it was okay. I don't know. We just came back and went to the pool after a while
Yeah.
in the apartment. But
Um,
I don't know, man. What have you been doing?
Dude, been grilling a lot with the girlfriend. Been
Grilling?
yeah,
Sweet.
man. I've been grilling all the time. I think about it like, what am I going to grill next? I'm
Yeah.
grilling stuff like, can you grill crab cakes? And they're like, no, you're better off doing this with them, and reasons why not. And I'm like, can you grill this? How to grill ribs? It's like, well, ideally you wouldn't grill ribs. And I'm like, just trying to figure out like what I can grill. I've been making like burgers and steak and
Yeah.
like
I love
just getting,
grilling
like ground
steaks,
chicken
man.
and making chicken pad like chicken burgers and stuff. And
It's fun, when you can, you pick your marinade and you pick your rub and you try and get the
I
timing down and
I
flip
just
them at the
do.
right time. It's fun.
Yeah, I do my own like spices and stuff. I mean, sometimes I do like a certain like rub or marinade, but mainly I just use like, I got like I like using like garlic and onion powder pretty much in everything. And then I just pick, usually some black pepper. Those are all staples.
If the cut of meat is good enough as far as steak goes, all you need is like sea salt and ground pepper.
If
Like
you like
honestly,
that. I mean, I like, even if a steak's amazing, I like like there's no steak I wouldn't rather have with a little bit of garlic and onion powder on it as well, and some pepper and some salt.
yeah,
Like I like garlic and onion powder as staples in most, but that's just me.
that's cool. That
Um,
stuff they sell. What is that rub? Stubbs. You ever use that stuff? It's pretty good.
no, it's good.
It's good.
I'll have to
Check
check
that
it
out.
out because I'm going to be grilling later today. I don't know what yet, but
Stubbs. They got a bunch of different
I might
kinds.
try and do some seafood, which I guess would be, different. What I would probably just use like pepper and stuff and
Yeah,
salt.
I can grill salmon like pretty decently. It's you gotta get used. You gotta do it a couple times though. It's a little different.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of fish I'm going to do or what I'm going to do. Maybe I'm just going to do something else. She doesn't like eating beef as often as I do. When I grill, I'm not thinking about grilling chicken, dude. I'm thinking about grilling beef.
Uh huh.
Like, if
You
I'm
like
grilling chicken, I'm cooking it and eating it during the week. I'm not thinking about grilling like grilled chicken, breast.
Yeah, I would do maybe like breasts and like you said, keep them for later on in the week. But do you do like brats or sausages?
Yeah, I like it. She's
I
not as
like
big on
brats.
it, but I mean, I'm down. We might do that. I mean, maybe today, since it's the weekend, we might even do something like nicer hot dogs. Like I might go to like Whole Foods and get some like beef hot dogs or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not sure.
Johnsonville hot and spicy brats, man. Those are
Yeah,
good.
I probably would like that. I don't like if it's too hot. Then I need to put something like ketchup on it or something. To
They got
like,
cheddar cheese and bacon ones. Those are good too.
yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I saw Boyhood yesterday.
What is that? What do you?
Boyhood is a movie that
What?
was filmed over 12 years, man. Every year they shot a different part of it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Coming of age film.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, it's by Richard Linklater. And if you're familiar, his most famous film is Dazed and Confused, but he did a film called Waking Life, which is really cool. It's like rotoscoped, like the style of it. And it's this guy who's like walking around in like a dream. He can't tell if he's dreaming or awake. And it's like pretty philosophical, and it like plays with like the idea of perception and what's, reality, and a lot of cool stuff and a lot of different theories and opinions on that. And but he also did the before sunrise, before sunset, maybe. I forget the name. I think it was Before Sunrise and Before Sunset, and then before midnight was the last one. So have you ever seen any of those with Ethan Hawke?
Midnight, I think.
Before Midnight was the newest one though, but that was a trilogy. Okay, like it's basically Ethan Hawke and I forget her name, but regardless, the first one was like in '94, and then the next one is like maybe 2000. I don't know, 2007 or something like that. It took place like maybe 13 years later, and they just had one that took place, I guess, around like 9 years later. or something like that, or 8. I don't know if the numbers add up, but you get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So, but they're actually like they pick up where the old one it's a continual storyline. It's not like a sequel where it's like Beverly Hills Cop 2 and then you can watch 5 and it doesn't really matter. Like you definitely got to watch these in order. It's like a continual thing. It picks up where it left off so many years later.
Okay, I got
Very specifically a watch in order consecutive kind of thing. Kind of like a television series, like, where you kind of have to watch the episodes in order to really get it.
Right.
But those are amazing. And then Boyhood was a spectacle, man. It was unbelievable to watch. 12 years unfold in about like 2 hours and 45 minutes. It was unbelievable.
It's got a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, all those, dude. Movies like that. If you were to look up at the other ones, type in Before Sunrise.
Yeah.
Let's see what that is on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, Before Sunrise. The movie's for that it gets 100.
100, exactly. Out of how many people? I bet it's a ton.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There are movies like that, man, where people don't know. Type in Paris, Texas. Type in Texas film, and see the Rotten Tomatoes score of that. It's a 1984 film, I think.
Paris, Texas.
Paris, Texas.
That gets 100.
100%. 1984. It is Kurt Cobain and Elliott Smith. Both of theirs. It's their favorite movie, and stuff like that. I mean, dude, there are plenty of movies like that are just like, in like the film industry and stuff, just like considered absolute masterpieces that like the common person doesn't really know about. But we won't talk about that at too much of an extent. But if you were just to look at their IMDb's or Rotten Tomatoes, you'd be like, oh my God, I need to see these movies. And nobody's ever heard of them. Stuff like that. But that's how a lot of Linklater stuff is. He also did A Scanner Darkly. He did this. His first film was Slacker, which is some like bullshit indie film where it's like improvised and boring as hell. And it's like one long shot kind of. And it's just like improvised conversations that suck. But I like him, but I hate that movie. Have you ever seen Coffee and Cigarettes?
Yeah.
Dude, it's like that. How boring is that movie?
Yeah, it sucks.
It's so bad. It's so bad. You and I could improvise conversations infinitely better than that. Interview-based podcasts, the conversations that happen on like Joe Rogan Experience, Mark Maron's podcast, all of that, Jeff Garland, whoever is doing the interview, all of those interview podcasts are a million times better than the improvised conversations in Coffee and Cigarettes, right?
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, Bill Murray was exciting to see him. Stephen Wright was okay, but for the most part, they sucked. And that's how Slacker is, dude. It's like a slightly better version, but still god awfully boring. Just terrible improvised conversations. So, but all right, enough of that. Well, I don't mind talking that kind of stuff at the end of an episode, but that's enough of that BSing for this episode.
I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy.
Dude, I have not seen it. It's not typically my thing, but
Right.
maybe I'll see it eventually. I like Chris Pratt.
Every now and then I like to just go into the theater and like turn off my brain and just watch some quote unquote epic.
Yeah, see, I like seeing
know?
bad movies. Like I like seeing movies that are so bad that you need to see them. Like for me, like action-packed movies that are like Pacific Rim type stuff does not do it for me.
Mhm.
I'm sure
That's
the
the kind of
characters
stuff I'm talking about. Like when I go in and I mean, like I say, turn off my brain.
you enjoy that. It bores
Yeah,
me to
sure.
death.
Sometimes like I don't know. I just like
I
it.
like-
It seemed like they adapted, like it was like a comic book adaptation and they like didn't even like change it for the movie. Like the acting was so bad.
Which one? Which?
Pacific Rim.
That's the guy who did like Pan's Labyrinth.
Right.
See, I can he did Hellboy and Hellboy 2, and I thought those were really good. Like there is a type of movie like that I enjoy. Usually it's because of the characters and their conversations and the humor. Action bores me.
Mm-hmm.
Like unless it's a slow burn, like a long build up to an action sequence. But even then, like my favorite shootouts are movies like in Bruges and stuff like that, where it's not even like actual like big shootouts that are like just, it sounds like explosions are going off in every direction and just guns that have like a million rounds just firing off and nobody's going to get killed and they just last forever. That bores me to death.
Yeah.
Ugh. but that's just me. I mean, I like mindless stuff. I watch bad comedies sometimes. You know, like I went to see like 22 Jump Street and like Neighbors and stuff like that. And I enjoy it. I have a good time. As long as they're at least kind of funny. But I can remember going to see things like there was that movie that had that guy who was in like Dodgeball, but it had it was like about school. He made that like New College. And that comedian who yells all the time was in it. Who's the
Sam
political
Kinison?
comedian who yells all the time?
Lewis Black.
Yeah, Lewis Black was in it. What's the name of that movie? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't know the name.
But I remember seeing that and thinking it was like, oh, I enjoyed this, even though it's not good at all. At all.
Right.
But, you know, kind of like that. I can go see movies like that. God, man, that's good. I'm going to say the name of this movie and then we'll be done our podcast. I'm pulling it up right now. Lewis Black. I'm going to guess it was around like 2009 or 8. No, it was 2006. Accepted. It had Jonah Hill in it.
Huh, that's weird.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Justin
I saw
Long
that.
is the guy I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I saw that one.
People thought he was going to be like the next big thing. Isn't that wild? Drag Me to Hell film. But anyway, all right. We're good. I'm going to keep rattling once we start talking movies. I cannot shut up. But cool. All right, man. Hey, you guys can find us on iTunes. Please subscribe to us. We're on Stitcher. Add us to your favorites. Give us a rating. Follow us on Twitter. It's at Color Me Bloody. Yeah, that's the most of it. Like us on Facebook. Interact with us. Let us know you listen. Spread the word. Cool.
Hell yeah.
We're out. Later.
CMP.
Bye.